What's up, Florida Panther fans? Your Florida Panthers are Eastern Conference champions. The first time since 1996. I literally cried at the end of that game watching Barkov and Tkachuk grab that trophy. I am joined by my good friend way back from high school. We went to St. Thomas Aquinas together in Fort Lauderdale, Frankie Barreto. He's a big Panther fan as well. Frankie, you were at that game as the Panthers sweep the Hurricanes. Walk us through that a little bit. Walk us through the emotion of that game.
Kevin, I can tell you, I've seen a lot of South Florida sports and college sports in my life, and nothing for me as a local fan comes anywhere close to this moment. 27 years in the making for me. I actually got to go last night with a very good friend of ours, Daniel Sullivan. A lot of guys know.
Shout out, Danny.
Shout out to Danny. It's really awesome to be back, just chatting with you like we were back in, freshman year in the 100 hallways. But I mean, I think over the last couple of months, I think I've been texting you on DMs more than I've been texting my wife because there's a lot to talk about with Panthers hockey.
And of course, the guy who does it all, Matthew Tkachuk, the flair for dramatics. He keeps scoring. Frankie's got the jersey on for those who can't see. He scores with 4 seconds left on the clock. I mean, what? Of course, all of us, we're now a little traumatized with all the overtimes, but he does it before we get to overtime. The building goes bananas. And obviously, tell me, what was it like when that happened?
Well, the only reason he scored that goal with 4.3 seconds left is because I walked into Pantherland 40 minutes before puck drop and bought this jersey. So Matthew, I think I willed this into the world and said, how cool would it be, one day, God willing, I have kids, to be able to give this to them and say, hey, I bought this at the Eastern Conference Finals and Matt Tkachuk scored the winning goal. I've been going to games since I was 3. In the old Miami Arena, my dad and my uncle used to take me to games, and in all the years since we've been in Sunrise since 99, I've never seen or felt or heard the arena quite like this. Very special, and I can't even imagine what it's going to sound like in about a week's time when we're actually playing for the Stanley Cup. I guess to get back to Matt's goal, he scores. That little, nice little feed from Barkov, wraps around, puts a one little move, hits it on the left side. The arena just raining all over the ice like you normally would. And just seeing the disappointment on Carolina, just all gathering around Anderson. Anderson's asking for a challenge for goaltender interference. And I don't think any of us ever thought that was going to happen because obviously we're not seeing replays on TV. We don't have the benefit of commentators out there. So I don't see the score change. I was like, why is it still 3-3? And then obviously you see that the head referee skates to center ice and turn on the mic. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Booth review from upstairs for goaltender interference. And we look at each other. We're like, did anybody even crowd the net? Who crowded the net? And it was about a minute of silence. You can hear all the little, mumbles from people. And a guy 3 rows down from us turns around, looks at us and takes his phone out. Hey, my wife has the TV on. Someone got a stick on the goalie. This is going to get waved off. So apparently, and I found out from my dad this morning, the announcers, I don't know who was commentating the game last night. I think it was on TNT. They were convinced that this was getting waved off. And obviously, I didn't hear it. Maybe he's feeding me misinformation, but I got the sense from him that he thought this was getting waved off. And then when I heard the line, from the centerman, good goal, the arena again erupted like you've never heard it before. It was, Kevin, I'm getting chills. My heart's pumping just thinking about it.
I was in tears watching this happen. It's just, we've waited way too long, Frankie.
27 years.
And obviously my fanhood and yours, all begins because there was a buzz when the Florida Panthers make it to the Cup in 96. And so, our generation of fandom comes from that. And so I love always thinking about all the fans who are coming on board now that this freight train is moving again. Matthew Tkachuk, he's quoted saying, we've got a few weeks left of this, and hopefully they're going to be the best weeks of our lives. Can't agree more with that.
I think Alexander Barkov must have had a really good time at that bar mitzvah because he came out pretty fired up, and he was doing the dirty work on the defensive end, really, really key poke checks that were, right on the center line as they were getting stretch passes that were open all day for Stahl and for, Pesce out in the wing. And I mean, he just got in there and did the dirty work.
And a big storyline for me, again, is our fourth line scoring. That is such a good sign for the Florida Panthers, for any team going into the playoffs. If your fourth line is scoring big goals, then you have a legitimate chance. And our team is so deep. Eric Stahl makes a beautiful spin move. It was a tic-tac-toe play from our fourth line. It could have, that looked like a first line play.
They just do it night in and night out like it's nothing.
Speaking of the stalls, I know you mentioned to me a little earlier there was some chanting going on in the stands. What were some of those chants happening?
I don't know if it's appropriate to say this on air, Kevin, but you can cut this out later if you want. But I started a couple, Jordan, you're a bitch. Every time he got the puck, but no disrespect to Jordan Staal. He's a hell of a player. And in my opinion, I think probably the more talented of the three brothers that are in the league right now. And, you got to feel for him a little bit to lose to your two brothers. Kind of sucks. Yeah. Hell of a player. I mean, I think he had a great series.
Of course, Jordan already has a cup. Eric already has a cup. So we got to get Mark a cup. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, if they can all get one at some point in their career, I think they can be, just like the almost like the Kelsey brothers, unfortunately for one of them. But
so Bobrovsky ends this series with a .965 save percentage in this 4-game sweep. I mean, what the hell? Nobody's ever had a performance like this in a long time in the playoffs. And I saw a tweet that came out when a goal went in on him, and they said, "Oh, so you can score on Sergei Bobrovsky." I had no idea.
Kevin, I think the loudest chant that I heard last night is "Bobby, Bobby, Bobby," and everybody's just getting in with it, and the whole arena just waving the towels. And I'm telling you, I've never seen or heard anything like this in Sunrise, Florida.
You always hear about goalies stealing games in the playoffs, how important that is. But in my personal opinion, he stole 3 games in this 4-game series. I mean, Absolutely. Straight up 3, just highway robbery, stole them from the Hurricanes, because they definitely played worthy of beating us in 3 of those games. So
I don't think, Kevin, that any of the goals last night of the 3 were really errors on him.
Totally. No, he's still on his A game, which is great going into the Stanley Cup finals. Can't believe I'm saying those words out loud.
Speaking of somebody talking about the cup a little too soon, it's 3-2. There are 4 minutes left, and a whole section behind me starts saying, "We want the cup. We want the cup. We want the cup." And, my whole row turns around and we're like, "Hey, shut up. Not yet. It's too soon. Wait till there's like a minute left and they've pulled their goalie. Come on." Right when I said that, bing, 3-3. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I don't want to speak too soon, but for me, just going there, I'm ecstatic. Anything that happens at this point to me is a bonus. Obviously, selfishly, I want the cup, but to say that, what the run this team has been on it's a success in itself.
Exactly. It's so interesting. You say, everything is a bonus. I kind of felt like that. Yeah. After we got into the playoffs, I was like, okay, I guess everything from here is a bonus. Any win we could get against Boston. Psychologically, the way that the Cats kind of fooled us into having that tough season, and then all of this has felt like bonus the whole time.
And, a shout out to Chicago for winning some games that maybe they shouldn't have won to keep us alive and get the Pens out. So, hey, they still got Bedard in the end, but a couple goals there that kind of also shaped our season. So thanks, Chicago.
Thank you, Chicago.
So how about our boy Gus Forsling getting the game puck?
Love seeing that. I mean, I've noticed the person that comes to mind as the star of the Panthers for each of these games isn't necessarily the one getting the game puck if you watch the videos. And I love that about the team. They're kind of spreading that wealth, appreciating everyone, getting everyone on board to put that puck on the board.
Impact plays. I mean, there's 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock, and you put in a hard defensive shift, you win the puck, and you skate just out of the reach of Jordan Staal, and he sticks his skate where it doesn't, his stick where it doesn't belong, and draw a very key tripping penalty. No controversy there at all. It was clear, and the Panthers are on the power play to end third. So, and this team, to me, I don't know what it is with our our typical allergies to scoring on power plays, but can you write a better storybook ending for the team with one of the most inconsistent and streaky power plays in hockey wins on a power play and goes to the Stanley Cup final?
And what I loved about this game particularly is, I expected a huge surge by the Hurricanes, desperation game. They were going to come out hot just like they did in game 3. And obviously they tried, but the Panthers came out even hotter. I mean, they were so physical from the moment that puck dropped. And they just used the big bodies against the Hurricanes. And of course, Sam Bennett lays that hit on Jacob Slavin.
Oh my
Such
goodness.
a tough hit to watch as a hockey player, just knowing what Jacob Slavin's going through. But as a Panther fan, I was excited.
10-year-old me was just really giddy in there because I don't know if you know this, I did play a year of hockey.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Hockey, and I spent probably 2/3 of my 1-year roller hockey career in the penalty box. because I was doing stuff like that, just laying kids out on their skates. And I remember at the end of the year, my parents said, I think you need to go play some football. And I was like, I think it's a good idea. I think that hit set the tone. Not only did we score 20 seconds into the hockey game, but a hit like that sends a message that, hey, we're still here. We ain't going down without a fight. Bring your best game. It doesn't matter. We're winning this one.
We wanted it. We knew that trophy was in the building and that we could win it in front of the home crowd. So super cool. It's the first time that trophy had been, of course, awarded in that building, because in 1996, they won it away. So really nice that the home crowd finally got to see that happen. Another big one, Bill Zito gets nominated for the General Manager of the Year award, and perfect timing, because obviously every single one of his moves is buzzing right now. Verhaeghe, free agent, $2 million a year we sign him for.
We love Swaggy.
Fourth liner from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Bill Zito picks him up for $2 million a year. Brandon Montour, we get him for a third-round pick. Is he our number one defenseman right now, or what, Frankie?
Pay that man whatever he asks for in the offseason, Mr. Zito.
We get Gustav Forsling. He's claimed off waivers from Carolina, of all places, and we pick him up for free. We get Sam Bennett for a second-round pick and a prospect. He only had 40 points this season, but what would we be without Sam Bennett right now in the playoffs? I mean, all these guys are literally our core.
Radko Gudas. What can't we say about that man? That, to me, if you want to talk about, signings that kind of get a little bit overshadowed by, Matt Tkachuk and Carter Verhaeghe and the goals that they score, the Butcher. What in addition to this team? I know you've got a lot to say about that.
I had some people telling me the other day, they were like, Toronto should try and trade Mitch Marner for Radko Gudas. And I was like, we wouldn't make that trade. This man is playoff hockey defined. You see these clips of him just hovering over some of the best players in the league. Marchand in the first series, Matthews in the second, now all over Aho, like just making these guys look like babies, He obviously took a dumb penalty on Aho.
Dumb 2 penalties, but you know what? We forgive him. Radko, if you go to the box and we come out on top, no harm, no foul.
I think we got to let him keep doing what he's doing, because it's obviously working more than it's not.
And Kevin, he's not one of those guys that's been with this organization for 10 years like a Barkov. But you know what? He's one of the first men on that ice for the warm-up skate, and he is the last man to walk off. He's got his own little high fives with every single guy on the team, the leader that he is for this team. He doesn't have the A or the C on his jersey, but he sure acts like it. And how many moves did we all criticize? We're bringing back the Stahl brothers. We're bringing them here, 36 and 38-year-old guys to come over here and play some real line hockey. God, did that work out. And then trading, our very much respect for Huberdeau. He gave, 10 years to the organization, and, served as the assistant up there with Barkey and a couple other guys as captains throughout his career, and, owe a lot to him, to our success, I think, built with the core. He really helped shape a lot of the guys in that locker room. It's kind of sad that, Hubie's not part of this run. It kind of sucks in a sense, but I'm happy we didn't look back.
Obviously, a franchise doesn't get this far without years and years of experience and games and different teams moving us and moving the needle. And of course, Huberdeau was a part of that growth. And so, all those lessons we learned with him, and of course, all the new fans that came on board because of him, and
Yes.
And all the players who wanted to play in South Florida because they knew they could get a chance to play with Jonathan Huberdeau. And so you think about how a team is built, and of course, Huberdeau's been a part of that every step of the way. So Frankie, I know you and Danny sent me some videos of you guys at the game. And so I want to know, there's a couple of them. One of them, you're using the towel and obviously sweeping the floor a little bit. Walk us through that
Like
video
that.
a little bit.
Sweep the floors, baby. Get them out of here. Well, I walked in and we clear the little security thing to get in. And I see the guy that was like two people in front of me. He pulls out of his sweater a broom that you would use to sweep, either debris or ice off your windshield in your car. I'm looking at him and go, are you serious? Are you really bringing that to this game? Like, why are you going to bring this bad voodoo onto this team? Like, leave that at home. Do that when you get home. Post on Instagram, whatever. Don't bring it onto the arena. When the clock hit 0, that broom, I actually saw it on the ice. I think I threw it on with the Rats. And then the other thing, Kevin, we were walking out of the stadium and somebody stuck a sign out their window that said hurricane. Was more like a tropical depression.
That's a good one too.
That's pretty good. Kevin, I don't know about you, but I'll be a big Dallas Stars fan for the next couple nights. I need to get those boys nice and tired.
I was thinking the same thing. Obviously, momentum, there's the debate about that. Is it better to just jump in? After I saw a couple of bodies, Lusterinen particularly got a little hurt. Barkov the game before.
Yeah.
I think all these guys could use a little rest. Always Bobrovsky.
Don't touch him. Don't talk to him. Like Goldie said, don't go near him. Don't text him. Don't talk to him. Don't touch him. He had like a list of 4 things. I thought it was hilarious.
Obviously, everyone always says it, one of the hardest workers in the game. We waited a little bit here as Florida Panther fans for him to hit his stride. But now everyone's remembering, oh, yeah, he was a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner. And oh, yeah, he swept the Tampa Bay Lightning that one year. I mean, this guy obviously had it in him. We were just kind of all waiting for it to arrive, and it's come at the best time. I am making plans to return from Europe just to get there. My sister's trying to meet us. She's coming from Seattle. Everyone around the world is trying to get to this
super
Stanley
fan
Cup.
At heart, Kevin. A true super fan you are.
I waited 27 years to have a chance to see this. I'm not going to wait another 27. So
when are you ever going to see a run like this again? It might be next year. Who knows? I would love that. But the reality is when all the stars align and everything has to go right and the injury bug stayed away from your team as long as it did in this playoff run, and I hope it stays that way again, you got to seize the moment when you have the opportunity. And if you're fortunate enough to get to one of these games and somebody offers you a ticket or you see a deal that's worth taking, I mean, I can tell you from being there last night, do not miss out. And, I really hope that we can keep this momentum even going into next year and, sell out season tickets. Have, more home attendance. One of the things Danny told me last night, Kevin, and it was true. When have you ever seen in any game, whether playoffs or not, a pretty much almost 92 or 93% Florida Panthers fans sold out arena?
Barely seen any Hurricanes fans or of course, in the last series, we, I guess, banned the Toronto fans. No, it's so nice to see. Finally, it seems like it's growing. And I would encourage anyone out there listening, if you're obviously listening, you're a diehard Florida Panther fan too, but this is the moment to go tell your buddy, hey, we got a hockey team in South Florida. Come watch the game with me, because this is how you get people hooked. They'll be fans for life.
One thing I found hilarious after the game, and you're riding on the way home and you're listening to the radio cast and all the interviews. What was Rob thinking last night saying, we didn't lose 4 games. We didn't actually. Well, no, sir, you did lose 4 games, and while albeit they were close.
I totally understand what he's trying to say. It definitely, it has to be a shock for the Hurricanes. They're like, oh, we just played amazing and we lost 4 in a row. I don't look at that team and go, damn, yeah, they sucked. Wow, it may have been the best team in this playoffs after what I just saw. Obviously, the Bruins came in with the season they had. This team looked way better than the Bruins. I think the Hurricanes could have taken the Bruins.
I remember telling you this at the beginning of the playoff run when it starts after we win game 7 in Boston. I told you, I was like, I don't want to see Carolina at any point in the playoffs. I'm kind of happy that we drew Boston because from a matchup standpoint, on paper, we don't match up well against this team. They got big, fast, physical skaters. They play at a different intensity level than most teams in the NHL, and they're like us. They are our match. Excuse my French here, balls to the walls for 3 periods straight, and they don't stop. And that was very evident last night. Much credit to them. I think if they would have played this exact same series against any other team in the East, I think the sweep might have gone the other way.
In this same series, I think they could have won it. Just the way it was played, it's just, it happened to go our way. And like they say about playoff hockey, not only do you have to be good, you have to be lucky. And everything just seems to be lining up for the Panthers. And we've waited a long time for that to happen.
What is it with this team and just being allergic to blowing people out? Why does it have to be these 1-goal scrappy grind it out to the end wins? Why can't I just go there and kind of kick up my legs on the seat in front of me after the opposing fan walks out? And
that's what we tried last year, Frankie, and it obviously wasn't quote unquote playoff hockey.
It wasn't working.
So
but to get playoff hockey, the way that we've been playing it, I think this run is now since our last loss in Boston. It's 11-1. I mean, come on. We never looked back. This rest is coming at a good time.
We'll see who we get to play in the Stanley Cup Finals. But Frankie, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for taking the time.
Anytime, my brother. Anytime.
So good as we see all our, friendships from high school. Everyone, I'm getting messages from people I haven't heard from in a while. It's so nice when the buzz happens, the community comes back together, and we all get to hang out and talk Florida Panther hockey.
I mean, Kevin, I think the thanks has to go to you for starting this with your buddy Jake. It's really hard to find Panthers material around here. I mean, there's a couple podcasts here and there, but to get the fan perspective of it, not necessarily the analytics and all of the stats that go into it, but somebody who truly loves this organization, somebody who's been there through, again, the many years of pain that we all suffered as fans. You didn't start this when we were good. You started this when, things weren't looking so good for us.
Thank you for reminding us of that, Frankie.
Kevin, we're proud of you, man. All the boys here in South Florida are really proud of you for doing this. And I'm honored and blessed that you called me to be a part of this for today. And very, very fortunate to have been able to be there. I can't wait to see what happens in this cup run. And no matter what happens, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of this city and the way the fans rallied and showed out for these last 3 series. Let's keep the momentum rolling, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, Cats, baby.